Hello, welcome to the first of two very special Racing to Win episodes. It is the biggest week of racing for the year in Hong Kong. We've got HKIR coming up at Sha Tin on Sunday, which is all about the international horses, whilst at Happy Valley on Wednesday night, it's all about these 12 superstar jockeys.
It's great to have all the best jockeys from around the world. You need the right horse, you need the right barrier, you need the tempo of the races.
It's an awesome, really good jockeys on a very unique course at Happy Valley. We're lucky enough to have competed there.
Really excited. It's a privilege and honour really to be asked to ride in Hong Kong.
最好成績嘅華人代表香港出賽。
I am very excited and my goal is to ride the winners.
To hopefully win, want to compete against the best jockeys in the world on this amazing night and enjoy myself.
The most it would be, of course, to win the IGC.
Great to be going back to Hong Kong.
I'm really excited to have been picked to go to the IGC.
Well, hopefully we can win the IGC, be able to compete with the rest of the world.
IJC, Hong Kong Jockey Club always bring over great jockeys from all over the world.
And to preview it all, we welcome to the studio Paul Lally and Nick Child. And Nick, we're about to have a look at the superstar lineup of jockeys. Unfortunately, though, no Yuga Kawada.
Yeah, very unfortunate indeed, and obviously a shame he can't be here, but still a superb lineup, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing these world-class jockeys in action, and it certainly makes for a great start to the week.
It does indeed. We'll have a look at them shortly, Paul, but there are jackpots on Wednesday night.
There is. There's a triple trio jackpot as well if the jockeys aren't enough, which they will be. 2 million going into that, so that should be up to about 5 million. The races look very even as they normally do, and a lot of these jockeys obviously haven't seen these horses before, so sometimes the tactics are a little bit different as well.
And a couple are riding in Hong Kong for the first time. Certainly Jamie Carr is. We'll hear from Jamie shortly, but here is the lineup for France Macau Barcelona. Hugh Bowman represents Australia. He's a late inclusion for Jai McNeil. Over the page, Sylvester de Souza represents Hong Kong. Holly Doyle's back. Lyle Hewittson's come in earlier today for Yuga Kawada. We've got Vincent Ho, also the local homegrown product, Jamie Carr and Tom Marquand from Australia and Great Britain respectively. And it is James McDonald representing New Zealand. Ryan Moore is back from Great Britain, and Zach Purton as champion jockey in Hong Kong will represent Hong Kong once again. It is a fantastic lineup, and riding for the first time amongst them is a star of Australian racing, and her name is Jamie Carr, and Nick was able to talk to her at a gala presentation last night.
Just really excited, yeah. First time here riding and first time being in Hong Kong, so a very different experience for me, and yeah, something I'm really excited to be a part of.
Your first ride, I took the liberty of looking that up, 2012, so obviously not that long ago, and you're riding here against some very experienced riders. Did you think all that time ago that this is where Jamie Carr would end up?
Absolutely not. I was saying to Ryan Moore, I think it's his 15th or 16th International Jockey Challenge, and I said that's 6 years longer than I've been riding for. So it's amazing to be riding with so many. The calibre of jockeys here is unbelievable. So I did not think I'd be riding in Hong Kong back then.
And obviously what you've achieved, Jamie, obviously the success goes without saying. Obviously many winners in Australia, obviously records have been broken, South Australian champion, a Melbourne champion as well. It's certainly warranted. In coming to Hong Kong and competing in this, is it slightly sort of like a bit of a pinnacle in respects that it's recognised, not that it already hasn't been, but I mean Hong Kong and its place on the world stage is right up there.
Definitely, it's such a prestigious course, a prestigious jockey club, and to be just asked, let alone be here and riding, it's very special. I think you know, Australian racing is fantastic. It's where my home is. I love it. But just to be recognised and to be invited here, it's just a whole nother level for me, for sure.
And just, I mean, obviously you've never ridden there, but what have you made of Happy Valley, and who have you perhaps called on for advice on the place?
Yeah, a lot of people have been, you know, throwing in their advice, and it's obviously a very tight track. It's very different. I think it's a little bit similar to Moonee Valley back at home, but I'm going to go home after here, do a lot of form, do the form on my rides, and hopefully get out there and have a good look at the track.
Jamie Carr, they're busy night for Jamie too, Nick. She's got a few rides outside of the IJC that look to be chances as well.
They actually do, yeah, for sure, and certainly wouldn't put it past her having more than just a winner in the one of the IJC legs.
He's a hard man to beat, Zach Purton, Paul.
Yeah, he's got a couple of low draws too, which is going to really suit him. excellent from a low draw, and also Supreme Lucky as well, so that's going to help him.
All right, just further to the fact that Yuga Kawada, unfortunately not riding, Lyle Hewitson replaces Yuga on all those rides in races 4, 5, 7 and 8. Solid impact has come out of race number 9. Beauty Glory for Ryan Moore takes over as the jockey. We've seen the preview. Now let's have a look at the meeting details for the big night at Happy Valley. A course, 9 races with an early start time too. We get underway at 6:30, so just be aware of that, with a lot going on in between races as well. 4 races we preview, races 4, 5, 7 and 8 in this extended version of Racing to Win, and we kick off with leg number 1, the Class 4 over the 1,000 metres. Forte is first up, no trials. Fabulous 8 raced wide last time, slightly better draw. Momentum Galaxy is a 3-time course and distance winner. Juno Flash comes back in trip. Supreme Lucky, he gets the blinkers on. We've got oversubscribed 3-time course and distance winner Valhalla. Second up wears blinkers. Fairbow has his second start for Pierre and Handsome Rebel, fashioning a pretty good record in a short time with Jamie Richards. 1,000 metres is the distance of the first leg. Nick, that means they will truck right along.
They certainly will, Mark. Yeah, they'll go pretty quick, you'd imagine. Circuit 7, drawn in gate 5. We know he likes to lead. Mikel Barcelona will be on board him, so expect him to go forward and be very prominent. Charming Steed, I suppose, an interesting one. He's drawn in gate number 2. Now, Lyle Hewitson's come in for the ride on this horse, and he does ride the track very well, and he can be positive on his mounts also, so he might press on. Supreme Lucky and Handsome Rebel, he might just be caught a little bit wider, Paul, can also be front ranked.
Yeah, he got the unlucky draw, Handsome Rebel. Vincent Ho from 7 with that pace underneath him. Supreme Lucky's drawn nicely in 1, so I'm sure Zach will hunt him up and get him into the trail there. Oversubscribed, did catch the eye coming from well back last time, and he does race better when he's towards the back as well.
Last time he was sort of right back out there, which we'll have a look at in the not too distant future as well. But we start with David Hayes. Nick was able to find David this morning out at Shard 10. Forte comes here, no trials. Let's find out why.
David, Forte is a horse that you're going to reintroduce in one of the IJC legs. We haven't seen him for a little while. What's been his issue, David?
He had a wind operation in the off-season, and so we just have taken our time, and we're sort of looking forward to him having a good back half of the season.
He hasn't had a trial. What was the thinking behind not trialling him?
I've just had a lot of luck with horses that have had wind operations to put them in fresh. So he's done plenty of work, but he just hasn't trialled. So he's sort of, which is unusual for Hong Kong, but not unusual all over the world.
Yeah, no, agree. And is he just the type of horse that sort of comes to hand quite quickly?
Yes, yeah, he does. He's a free working horse, and his recovery's been excellent. And we thought we might as well trial for $1 million rather than trial for nothing.
Yes, indeed, quite. This is an IJC leg, of course. Before we touch upon your jockey, obviously it's all luck of the draw. 0 from 6 here at Happy Valley, but he has run some good races at the City Circuit.
Yeah, he's gone close a few times. In one of the races where he didn't run a place, he was quite unlucky. So he's got no trouble with the Valley.
Hugh Bowman gets the ride for you. Obviously, he's riding extremely well at the moment. I imagine you're pleased when you saw the jockey allocation.
Yeah, the Hong Kong Huey, it's great to have him. He's had an instant impact, and he's a class rider.
I just wanted to ask you as well, just on regards to Nervous Witness, we've seen him trial already. He's on the comeback trail. Just a quick update on him.
Yeah, he's trialling on the turf Tuesday after the internationals, and he'll be set for the 1,000-metre group race in early January. We decided to pass. He had a colic operation, and we thought we'd just set him for the back half of the season.
Could give you all plenty to look forward to, I'm sure.
Yeah, look, he's acting really well. I expect him to trial well on that Tuesday, next Tuesday.
David Hayes there on Forte and Nervous Witness. Paul, we move on to the first of our replays, and it features Circuit 7, who was better on the speed this time. Handsome Rebel hasn't been too far away. Fairbow doing Fairbow things, and Fabulous 8, slightly better draw, but it's still on the outer part of the track.
Yeah, so he's just getting a little bit further back. Look, he came out to win, but he sort of didn't quite get there. I thought it was a good run from Circuit 7. He's going to be on the pace. We know that. He will be out of trouble, so I'm going to include him. Yeah, blinkers are off this night as well, and he's hit the line quite strongly. And those that were closest to him certainly haven't run bad either.
We're going back 2 starts ago now, Nick, for Circuit 7. We're going to show the whole race here because he's one of 2 horses we need to look at. He did a lot of early work and finished down the track, so to see him bounce back was very good. The other horse to take note of is in the yellow colours, oversubscribed, and the amount of ground he makes up.
Yeah, this was an incredible run from him, because at one stage, I think sort of when they get to the end of the back straight, upon turning in, he must have been, I don't know how many lengths off them, but it was plenty of daylight between himself and the field. So he's made up a lot of ground, and he's done well to finish where he has, only beaten a length in the end. So really good run. I mean, the pace, Paul, has clearly aided him in doing that. So I think they'll go quick again in this.
They will, that's the thing, you're right. He was a little bit flattered because of the pace, but there's pace again in this race. You're right about Circuit 7, forget about this run. He never got to the lead. I think he can get to the lead here. Now, you can see that some of these other runners, but have a look on the horse in the yellow in particular, oversubscribed, because he did finish off strong, and we have seen him do this before at Happy Valley, so he goes in for me as well.
Yeah, I think he has to. I mean, here he's picked up, and once he's just got a couple of taps behind the saddle, he's really responded very kindly. Sylvester de Souza rides him as well, so I think the jockey will suit the horse, and he was certainly hitting the line well.
And we also had Fabulous 8 Momentum Galaxy just in behind as well. We'll move on, Nick, to our next replay, which is Valhalla. This was first up down the straight. He stays at 1,000 metres. He debuted over this distance at Happy Valley in June.
Yeah, he ran 8th of 12 that day behind Sergeant Perry. He's beaten 5 lengths, but look, it was his first run, so you can sort of forgive him that. But this was a much more encouraging effort down the straight. He has closed off really well behind Flying High. Interesting, they put blinkers on for the first time, Paul, and well, he's trained by a certain Casper Founds, and he knows how to get them to win at Happy Valley.
Yeah, exactly. He did hit the line strongly. Barrier 11. That just worries me where he's going to end up. I think he's just going to be a bit further back than he would like.
Juno Flash has had one start, Paul. He was just fair that night. He's got a tricky barrier to overcome, but his trial since has looked good.
Yeah, hasn't it? I thought it was a really good trial from this horse. He looks like he's come on a lot. Sometimes John-sized runners, they just take a run to get right. Maybe he's the case. He's got a big horse. He's drawn awkwardly in barrier 12, but the way he raced in this trial, like looks like he's ready to win a race, so I've included him.
Yeah, he absolutely does, doesn't he? He's under a really tight hold, which is noticeable, and I think, as you say, if he can overcome the wide draw, there'd be no reason why he can't improve from first to second start.
He has a ride for Tom Marquand in the first leg. So that's a look at some of the runners, and also David Hayes. Paul, who have you got as your selections?
I'm going to go with Supreme Lucky on top here. Zach Purdon's mount, he's going to get the perfect run just in behind. And I think he can win. It was a good debut run from him, and the blinkers go on for the first time at his second start. Janu Flash, a really good trial from him, and he's had that run under his belt. Oversubscribed from the back, and Circuit 7 from the front. 7-6-8-4.
Yeah, I've gone with the top one here. Forte, unconventional, I suppose, to some coming into this race after a layoff without a trial. But David Hayes seemed pretty confident, and he certainly knows what he's doing, that's for sure. Hugh Bowman and a good draw should help matters also. Supreme Lucky in for second. I think he's a nice horse going forward. He's actually put 20 pounds on as well, so he might just have strengthened up from his first run there. Momentum Galaxy, I think, is one at a price. His run last time can be upgraded, covered a bit of extra ground. I expect him to go okay, and oversubscribed goes in. If there is that strong pace, it will suit him. 1, 7, 3 and 8.
And there you have leg number 1 of the Longines IJC. We head to a break here on Racing to Win. Back to look at race 5, leg 2, right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Now, before we go on, the International Week Diary is as follows. We'll have a track work show every day, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. It's on the website, hkjc.com. Thursday, the barrier draw is also live on the website. There's a special preview show later on Thursday as well. We'll come back on Saturday for a weekend edition of Racing to Win to preview HKIR, and of course the races live on the website as well. The 4 races for the IJC on Wednesday night. So one-stop shop, your fields are on there, your forms on there. Everything you need to know is at hkjc.com. And you don't need to go anywhere else. But we need to get on to race number 5 right now, which is the second leg of the Longines International Jockeys Championship. It's Class 4 and it's over the 1,650 metres. Win-Win Fighter carries top weight again, but does race well. Course and distance. Co-partner Era, he was a winner over the 1650 last season and goes to this distance the second time. This prep ran third behind Rainbow Light first up. Royal Pride carries an extra £6 for his last start win. Spicy Grill 2 starts 1650 and placed both times. Free Fall, all his wins at Shard 10. Baby has a better record over the 1200, but is second up where he has won over the 1650. Star Contact makes his Happy Valley debut. Sunny Delight broke through at start number 21 for his first win, carries an extra £6. Recapping Lyle Hewitson has replaced Yuga Kawada. Kung Fu Tea up in distance to the 1650 and a gear change with number 12, My Intelligent. he is not wearing a visor. This race a little more open than the first, boys, as far as speed goes. Good to slow, and with My Intelligent in the race, maybe one of a couple that could lead. Nick Freefall another one that likes to show early pace. Yeah, look, I think, as you say, look, I don't think there's going to be a strong tempo given what we know. So My Intelligent, who has led in his last, 3 starts, he's led, but he is drawn 12, so he's going to have to come across the field to get to the front. But if there's no competition, then it looks more than possible if he jumps cleanly. Baby's obviously a prominent runner. He's also drawn wide. Ryan Moore will be on board him, and Freefall, he can also sit prominently as well. And he's drawn best of that trio, Paul and 6, but it certainly looks as if it's My Intelligence for the taking. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Even though he's got the wide draw. I think whatever happens, Royal Pride's going to get a perfect run. 3 back on the inside there, or even trail if he doesn't get across. So I think he's going to get a nice run from barrier 1. Copan Era, I think, will go back. Spicy Grill goes back. Kung Fu Tea, he should be towards the back as well. He's back with Lifeline Vision and Star Contact. So that's a look at the speed map for race number 5. We'll move on to some replays now for this. And in the first one, we have a number of horses to look at, and they include last start winner, Sunny Delight. Yes, he finally broke through for that win. Win-Win Fighter meets him better at the weights. That's him in the blue colours with the striped cap. Spicy Grill's been doing nothing wrong. He was better known as a 1200 metre horse. There's not a lot of him, but he certainly made the step up to the 1650. And Lifeline Vision, Nicky, hasn't been too far away, but been finding 2-3 horses to beat him home. Who are you taking out of this replay? Well, maybe Spicy Grill, in fact, because like you alluded to, Mark, he's done nothing wrong. Just there, he's got chopped off in his run, and he's had to sort of gather himself up again and go again. But the luck, if you will, has been Lyle Hewittson's, because he's replacing Yuga Kawada, who was due to ride this horse, and Lyle, Paul, obviously on board last time. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? So that works out well for him. He knows the horse, which is an advantage here at Happy Valley. So I'm going to put Spicy Grill in as well. What about Sunny Delight? He took so long to win one. He'd been costly and he breaks through in that race. Is he the sort of horse a bit like Exceptional Nice, consistent, wins one and then goes back to back? It's possible, I think. Look, I'm going to include him as well, because he has been running some pretty good races without winning, and he does go well at Happy Valley as well. And when he won his race, it looked like, how has it taken him this long to win a race? So, yeah, he's going to go in for me as well. I mean, look, he's got some nice form. I know he took a while to win one, but his place form wasn't the worst. And like you say, the way he won last time, he was impressive. And he's beaten 3 of these already. So, they've got to chase him this time. He does indeed. All right, we'll move on to our next replay here. And it features your horse again, Nick Spicy Grill. There he is up along the rail this time. We've also got Co-Partner Era. He runs 3rd in this race. And Paul, there's Lifeline Vision. He's run 4th here again. He's becoming a little bit like Sunny Delight, running home thinking next time, when he just can't quite get past another 3 in front of him. Yeah, exactly. And he's going to get quite far back from barrier number 9 as well. So he didn't go in for me, a Lifeline Vision. Copan Era, look, he was right on the cusp. He hit the line really strongly, I thought, here. It wasn't a bad run from him. And, of course, he got Zach aboard. He has, and again, just touching on jockeys and obviously the luck of the draw, Vincent Ho rides Lifeline Vision. This will be the 8th time that he's ridden him, so I'm sure he would love to try and win on the horse. Absolutely, and Co-Partner Era's had 4 starts over the 1650 for a win, a 3rd, a 4th, and an unfinish in the top 4 as well, a non-finish in the top 4. Royal Pride, Paul. Last start winner, and there he is on the extreme outside part of the track. Hugh Bowman gets the ride for Casper Founds. This was his 3rd go over the 1650 metres. He won from barrier 4. Gets a good draw of 1 this week. I think he's going to get the best run in the race, which is quite important in these type of races, especially an even race. Look, he took 18 starts to win this race, didn't he? And the way he hit the line, it was very strongly, a bit like Sunny Delight as well. But from the draw, I think he's a big chance in this. Yeah, he has to be, doesn't he? And the visor came off last time as well, so that may or may not have played its part. But £6 more, he'll know about it. He sure will. Now, what about Star Contact, Nick? He's drawn barrier number 11, which is not a plus. He is coming to Happy Valley for the first time now. He has trialled here, but it was way back in December of 2021, so it's been a long time since he's seen the smaller circuit. He's had the 4 starts this time in for a win and a 2nd. This is the placing last time behind Accelerando. Does he look the sort of horse that can handle the swapping of tracks, but he's going to have to rely on some luck from the wide draw? Yeah, absolutely, he will. It's an interesting one, actually, because he's not a neat type of horse. He's substantial enough. There's plenty of him, and he just takes that bit of time to wind up. So he'll certainly need to be on his A game, that's for sure. But the run last time with cheek pieces on, Paul, was better. So
you can certainly take plenty of encouragement from that.
Yeah, it was a nice enough run, but again, coming to Happy Valley, barrier number 11, again, that's a concern for me.
Holly Doyle is riding Kung Fu Tea, Paul. I'm sure you've had some time for this horse in the past. Now, there he is there in the orange and blue colours. David Hall trains. He's stepping up from the 12 to the 1,650 metres. Only 2 goes at the trip previously. He has placed. Is there enough speed to get him into this race, though?
I think there could be. You know, sometimes these races are run a little bit faster than you would expect because of the sort of the different jockeys aboard. I'm gonna put him in because, look, his 3 wins have all been at 1,400 metres. He's by shocking, and the 1,650 hasn't been too bad for him at all. So, look, I think he's a chance at a big price.
Yeah, look, he's placed, course and distance. I wouldn't want to rule him out. I think all across the board for the international races, the championship races this year, is that they're all very competitive and a lot of horses get their chances.
Is this the most even of them, do you think?
It looks that way, doesn't it? I mean, there's plenty of horses of chances, and there's sort of positives and negatives for a lot of the horses.
Nick, here's Baby in the track work. Now he's second up. He's a bit keen this morning. That's him on the inside of Cigar Buddies, who also runs on Wednesday night.
He does. He was a winner 2 starts back. That was over course and distance, so he clearly handles conditions all right, Paul.
He's drawn wide. Now, they've gone forward, they've gone back in the past. It'll be interesting to see what Ryan Moore does do on Baby. But look, just from that wide draw, he didn't quite make it in.
Would you still prefer him over 1,200 than 1,650?
Well. Yeah, I would.
All right, open races, you said, Paul. Who did you settle on?
I'm going to go with Royal Pride. I know it's to go 2 in a row after taking a long time to win the race, but I just think he's going to get the best run in the race. Barrier number 1, he can be 3 back on the inside, and he can finish off really strongly. A good win from him last time. Kung Fu Tea, now he's the one that's outside the square. He's a 16-1 chance. His last win was off 44. He's rated slightly higher at 48. But look, if he can just sit in midfield here with Kung Fu Tea, I like the fact he's stepping up to 1650, has been placed, and Holly Doyle aboard. Sunny Delight, again, a bit like Royal Pride, took a while to win, but did win nicely. And Spicy Grill, that was a bit unlucky at his last time. The 1650 looks ideal. He's been placed at his last 2 starts over it. So, as we say, open race, but 3, 10, 9 and 4 in the end.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Paul. I think Spicy Grill, unlucky last time for sure, and I put him on top here in the hope that he can go a couple of places better. And recent form for him has not been the worst, in form of the stable. Pierre Ung's absolutely flying, so he can certainly go on top for mine. Royal Pride, look, a winner last time, good draw here. Hugh Bowman's booked for Casper Fownes. They've teamed up well, so I think he can certainly run his race. Sunny Delight goes in. Impressive when finally winning last start here in Hong Kong, and he's certainly got the luck of the draw as far as his rider's concerned. And the top one, Win-Win Fighter, I've put him in for 4th. He's another one drawn well, comes into the race in competitive form, having run 2nd on his most recent start. 4, 3, 9 and 1.
All of the preview for race number 5, the second leg of the Longines IJC. We take a break here on Racing to Win. Plenty more to preview on Wednesday night at Happy Valley right after this. It is this Sunday at Sha Tin, the Turf World Championships. There are horses from all around the globe here to take part. The locals headed by Golden 60. The internationals have come from far and wide in 4 Group 1 races. We have race number 7 at Happy Valley to preview now on IJC night. It's a Class 3 over the 1,650 metres. Captain Win makes his Happy Valley debut. Never been there to the Valley, so no trials. Even Red Majesty is now Lyle Hewitson. He carries an extra £7, Red Majesty, on that second to exceptional nice last start. Rising from Ashes, best draw over the 1,650 metres. Amazing One Plus was a winner 2 starts ago. Has an extra £6 to lump in this than that race. The Tander's up in trip from the 14 to the 1,650. Nimble Nimbus is a 2-time course and distance winner. Winning Dragon, he's a last start winner over this trip. Carries an extra £3 for Tom Marquand and Tony Cruz. Cruise. All Beauty has the cheek pieces coming off. Packing Famous is Zach Purton for Danny Schum. Had some blood in the trachea last time, Packing Famous. Viva Hunter won this meeting last year for Holly Doyle. Ryan Moore gets the ride on him on Wednesday night. And the Anomaly and Storm Legend round out the runners in race number 7. All right, the speed map here, Nick. Good. The speed map man is suggesting, and Red Majesty and Viva Hunter too with pace. The Anomaly also has some early speed.
Yeah, look, I certainly expect Viva Hunter to possibly go forward. Obviously, as you alluded to, he was successful on this card 12 months ago, and he's got Ryan Moore booked, and he's shown plenty of pace, albeit not recent races on the all-weather, but prior to that was going forward and leading. So expect to see him forward. Red Majesty, I don't think can be too far away. He's drawn 6, so middle of the line, and he can press on. The Anomaly might be trapped a little bit wide. He's in 11, but can show good speed. So he might just be caught out 2 or 3 wide perhaps, and Winning Dragon and Nimble Nimbus, well, he's never too far away, and he's drawn 2, Paul.
So he should get a nice run. Rising from Ashes has drawn 9, 8, 11 and 10 in his last 4 starts. He's drawn barrier 1, so I think he's going to be a little bit closer in the run, Rising from Ashes. All Beauty generally gets back. Captain Win, they've been going back with him, haven't they, in his recent starts, so I expect them to repeat those tactics again.
And he is where we start. Just before we get to Captain Win, Rising from Ashes, you mentioned barrier number 1. He's such a little horse. That's got to be a good thing, the inside and following the rail as long as he can.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really good thing for this horse. And he's had really sort of bad draws and got further back than what he would like. So from barrier 1, he's going to be just in the right position, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think he's very well placed.
He carries the weight well because he's such a little animal. We'd expect him to struggle with the bigger weights, but he's managed to lump, 129 pounds into second, then 5th last time with 132.
Yeah, he's weighing sub 1,000 pounds now as well. He's down 18, so he's if anything, he's tightened up a bit more.
Yeah, little chap with a big weight. You sort of have to adapt.
I know what you're saying. Let's go to some replays now, and we start, Nick, with Captain Win. That is him back in the field. He's got 1 win on the board here in Hong Kong, and he looked like he'd really go on with it that day. Since then, he's got 4s and the odd 2 throughout his form line. He's just not quite there, is he?
He's not. He's one of them horses that he's getting close, but no cigar sort of thing. And he's only dropped £1 pound this whole season. So, he's been running around the mark. What's interesting, though, is his trainer, Pierre Ung, usually rides a lot of work on this horse as well. So interesting that he's bringing him to the Valley for the first time.
Look, he's been stranded, you're right. I think you've summed it up. He's been on this rating of 79.80, which is a difficult rating in Hong Kong because you're either at the top of Class 3 or at the very bottom of Class 2. And it's Class 2's probably a step too far for him, and the top of Class 3 he's got to carry the weight. So he just needs a bit of relief, I think, for me.
All right, he draws barrier number 7. Matthew Chadwick takes the ride on him. Next replay, Paul, features the following horses. We've got Winning Dragon, Rising from Ashes, Amazing 1 Plus and Red Majesty. So we start with Winning Dragon. There he is there in the red cap. He went off this night as an 11-1 chance. Rising from Ashes, who we talked about earlier with a far better draw. That's him getting to the extreme outside. He's a bit hard to see behind Comet Splendido. Amazing 1 Plus. He runs 8 but does have a win on the board 2 starts ago. And Red Majesty finishes down the track this night. However, this is his go, 1,650 metres. Loves the joint.
He's an absolute horse that just course and distance specialist, isn't he? Very consistent horse. Look, the Winning Dragon, I thought this was his race to win. He's won his race now. He'd been a one-hit wonder up to this, but had been leading into it. Rising from Ashes, you can see coming down the outside from barrier number 1. I think he's going to be difficult to beat in this. And they did finish in a bit of a clump, didn't they?
They did. I think, having just gone back and looked at it, I think the first 10 were probably covered by about a length and a half. So they were all very close up. But I agree. I think Rising from Ashes, perhaps the run to take out of it.
All right, the little horse for both the boys there. We move on now to Satanta. This is over at Sha Tin, and his most recent start where he runs 4th here. First time over the 1650 for a while for Satanta. He's been back to the trials too. That is him in the grey and pink colours back in the field. All Beauty comes out of this race too. Nick, that's him there in the other of the Beauty colours. Of course, there's pink and black everywhere, but All Beauty the wider of the 2.
He is, and cheek pieces are coming off. You can see him sporting them here. They won't be worn on Wednesday night. Jamie Carr will be on board. Look, he's well drawn, and he's worn cheek pieces in his last two. He's run okay without really setting the world light. As for Setanta, well, he was third here once off of a mark of 80 over 1,200 metres. He's a few pounds lower this time in, and he doesn't come into the race in too bad a form, Paul.
Yeah, look, when he won his race, there was rain around that day. I think they changed the track conditions late on it, so he did win nicely enough with a little bit of a give in the ground. Now, Happy Valley is a little bit more kinder in that respect than Sha Tin, so it would probably suit him.
It was pouring rain when he won it later in the day, but the weather forecast is not for rain on Wednesday night. Red Majesty again here, Paul. This was his win at big odds a couple of starts ago. He got a beautiful run this night for Keith Young from a draw of barrier number 3. And the other horse to come out of this race is Nimble Nimbus. Now, he's a 2-time course and distance winner. His 2 runs back have been a first up win, then a 5th behind Red Majesty in this race. He does drop 3 pounds on his back. James McDonald gets on board and he draws nicely in 2.
Yeah, so he goes in for all those reasons you just said. Nimble Nimbus, he'll be right on the pace. I think he's going to get the perfect run. Red Majesty's been a consistent horse. He's drawn a little bit awkwardly. No, he's drawn 6, so he should be able to get across to the lead. It's just that this is a really strong race, I thought.
Yeah, look, it is, and he's racing off a mark of 78. He remains on a career high. In fact, I think the handicapper put him up 1 for his most recent run, so very tough for him, but yeah, he knows his way around here blindfold.
Yeah, he sure does. We move on, Nick, to our final replay for this race, and it features the Anomaly. Now, this was his win. He's had a start since the Anomaly. There he is in the blue blinkers. We've also got Packing Famous. He's up on the outside. And Storm Legend runs 6th here. He's got the yellow and brown colours on. He's a horse that has had some support of late, Storm Legend, just hasn't delivered yet. The Anomaly's hard to catch over the 16.52.
He is. He has got a win over this distance, but yeah, he can be a bit hard. He can be a bit sort of hit and miss, really, as you say. This win was good, and he's since bombed out. Storm Legend's a horse I've been waiting to win one, and I think he's going to do that at some point soon. And as for Packing Famous, I guess you could argue, Paul, he was perhaps the run to take out of it.
Yeah,
the winner.
Yeah, and he's the horse I will take out of it. He's drawn 8, so it's a little bit awkward, but with a bit of pace, and I think he'll try and just slot in at the back, and he's got Zach aboard as well.
He does. 2 runs back for 2 placings for Packing Famous. You're taking him out of that replay and putting him on top?
No, I'm not going to put him on top. I'm going to put Rising from Ashes on top, because he's just perfectly placed, I think, this horse. From barrier number 1, the query is the weight he has to carry, but he's proven in the past he can carry it. So he's on top. Nimble Nimbus in there for 2nd. Now, Nimble Nimbus has already won this season. 2nd up, he ran okay. And now he's back for his 3rd up run. He's a fit horse, and he's drawn nicely in barrier number 2, James McDonald aboard. Packing Famous, again, with Zach aboard. He'll just be a little bit further back, I think, from barrier 8. And Viva Hunter, now he's going to go forward from his draw. That's his normal racing style. And Viva Hunter, we saw, of course, win on one of the IJC races last season. So he's a horse who's ran really well on the all-weather already this season. 3, 6, 9 and 10.
Yeah, I'm going to join you there, Paul, with the 3 Rising from Ashes. I think that run last time can certainly be upgraded. He had to do it a little bit tough, and there's not much of him. So he did a good job, and I think he can go a few places better from a good draw, and a great opportunity for Holly Doyle to get on the score sheet. Packing Famous in for 2nd has done little wrong. One of perhaps the better of Zach's rides throughout the course of the series for the international riders, and he looks to be well placed. Viva Hunter, he goes in. Look, I think these conditions will suit him, and the booking, obviously, the Ryan Moore getting the ride certainly catches the eye there, and Red Majesty couldn't quite leave him out given his form around here over course and distance. 3, 9, 10 and 2.
And that is race number 7. We're not done here on Racing to Win. It's a special episode. You get 4 for the price of 2. We'll have race 8 right after this. You're watching Racing to Win and a special preview of Longines IJC night at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. We've seen the first 3 legs and there is 1 race to go on the show. It's race number 8 and the final leg is over the 1,200 metres. It is a Class 3. Gold Marquis, first up, very impressive, but will have to carry an extra 10 pounds and do it from barrier 12 this week. Adios, 2 starts at the distance for a win and a place. Happy Sharing has a better draw. Red Lion, now he goes to the 1,200 metres again after running 4th on debut in Hong Kong. Here comes Ted. He's now Lyle Hewitson from barrier number 2. Exponential, a 3-time course and distance winner. Beauty Glory comes into the race to replace Solid Impact. Draws barrier 1, carries 135 pounds though for Ryan Moore. Mr Valiant 2nd time at Happy Valley, and Stormtrooper comes up with a wider draw of barrier number 11. Over to the speed map now, Nick, and with Beauty Glory coming to the race, he has shown pace in the past and he's drawn barrier number 1. Is that likely to change things too much?
Look, possibly. We know he has shown pace, as you say, and look, he might well opt to maybe try and press forward, but I don't think he will. I think Exponential might be the type to go forward. Obviously, Zach Purton has landed the ride on him, and he's got plenty of track now, so wouldn't shock if he made a bit of use of him. California Veins is one that can race forward. He's drawing gate number 5, so first go around Happy Valley, however, so that'll be something new for him. And Pleasant Endeavour up on the outside there of that graphic. He's drawn 10. But he has shown some good pace in the past. And Happy Sharing, look, he won't be too far away either, Paul, given what we've seen from him recently.
The query's red line for me because he led all the way from a wide draw last time and did, when I say led all the way, he finished 4th, but he's the query where he's going to know. Beauty Glory, as you say, Mark, used to lead, but this season he hasn't, and when he won his race, he did come from 7th.
OK, so that's why he is 3 back on the inside, getting a nice run on the rail is Beauty Glory. Exponential as a horse who's very, very consistent. His trainer is Douglas White.
Douglas, Exponential is one of your runners on Wednesday night in the IJC leg, the 4th leg. He's a horse, Douglas, very consistent around here.
Yeah, he's been very consistent. You're right. You'd like a couple of them in your yard. You know, he turns up and he's rock solid with his form. He's had a few ordinary draws, but he still has managed to overcome that and be competitive. You know, he's got Zach on him with a nice gate of 6, so he should get his chance.
And that run last time was only just nosed out behind Starborough. I mean, he's a fairly useful yardstick, so the form's definitely up there with the majority.
It looks like the form's holding up, and as we've all seen, he's pretty consistent, and he's come back from Chung Fa. He seems to excel going up there. He's come back and he seems in good order.
I guess the most interesting angle is the fact that you have got Zach Purton riding. Obviously, there's been a bit in the news this week. Obviously, you've won 3 IJCs as a rider. Zach's won 3, and I guess you might potentially help him to win a 4th.
Well, if he's going to win on one of mine, I'd love to help him.
Just on this concept, I mean, this championship, I mean, it's something that I imagine you probably embraced in your time as a jockey.
Yeah, it's great competition. You know, you've got the best of the best coming out here to compete, and you do need an ounce of luck with draws and obviously the quality of horses. But in my opinion, the quality of horse that is running last year and particularly this year has increased substantially. So each jockey should have a more even chance. But it's a great highlight. You know, it's something that each and every jockey comes out here to try and win.
They're all world-class riders, that goes without saying, but I suppose when you've got Zed Purton on, there's just that extra little bit of sort of, you know, luck taken out of the equation, if you will, just the fact that he knows the place so well.
Well, he knows Happy Valley inside out, yeah. So he could probably go around there with his eyes closed. So he does have a slight advantage.
Look at Douglas's hair. It's only an inch off a mullet.
It's fantastic.
Yes. No, very good.
You just trying to throw me under the bus there, mate. Adding nothing, did you? You're scared of Douglas. All right, we'll move on with some more replays now, Nick, and start with Gold Marquis. This was a devastating turn of foot first up, but things more in the favour of Adios this week as far as draws and weights go.
Yeah, for sure, and that's exactly what I've got written down here as well. Good turn of foot, and that's what won in the race, but he's got £9 more to carry, wide draw. Handicap has put him up 8 points for this, but look, it was very good. He's put the race to bed in the blink of an eye, and Adios has obviously run his race as well. He's beaten a fair one there, Paul.
Yeah, he has. Now, I really like the way Mr. Valiant finished off there as well in 4th. He really had a bit of a red flashing light on his head as well. So I like the way he finished.
All right, good report for Mr. Valiant from Paul. We move on, Paul, to Namjong Singh's Happy Sharing, who's been racing really well for Pierre. Red Line, as you mentioned in the speed map, went forward here. Stormtrooper might have just found his mark in this grade, and Beauty Glory's back in the field.
Yeah, so he finishes back, but he's drawn nicely. I'm going to take Red Line out of this race because this was his debut run in Hong Kong. He drew 12. He came across and he led the whole way and just he still fought on, I thought, strongly. That's why I thought they just might take a bit of cover with him in this particular contest. But look, it was a good debut run from him.
It really was, yeah. He's kept on nice. I mean, both of his wins in Ireland are over 1,400 metres and he might get further in time. And as for Happy Sharing and Namjong Singh's, again, it just goes to show how competitive these races are.
Absolutely. And what about Pleasant Endeavour, Nick? He seems to have come back from a break and really thrived in the break. He's only had the 2 starts for a win and a placing.
Absolutely. Look, he's racing extremely well. You really can't fault him. I mean, look, his recent form has been at Sha Tin, but he's capable here. He actually won over course and distance off of 52. That was a little while ago. So look, he's a bit higher in the weights now, Paul, but James McDonald's on board, so the world's best.
Yes, exactly. And look, the thing with Pleasant Endeavour, though, is barrier 10. I just, with all that pace underneath him, it worries me a bit with him.
He's a member of the Ricky U stable. Ricky taking some in-form horses to Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Finally, California Veins, Paul. Now, this is a second last start for him. As Nick said earlier too, it's his first look at Happy Valley. He hasn't trialled here. This second behind Phoenix Light, he had a claim for Angus Chung, so carries an extra £10 for Tom Marquand.
Yeah, so he's got to carry extra weight, and he's coming to Happy Valley for the first time. His running style suggests he'll be okay at Happy Valley, but there's still that little bit of unknown, and this is a really strong race. Look, I looked at him a couple of times, but I never put him in the end.
Yeah, look, I totally agree with that. I think, you know, this race is very, very deep, very competitive. More weight on his back's not going to make it any easier, and the fact he's never had a look round here under race conditions is obviously a little bit of a negative.
All right, so err on the side of caution with California Veins from the boys. You've already let us in who your top selection is.
Yeah, I'd really like that run from Mr. Valiant, and I think he can win this race. He's going to be a big price too, so he'll be my each-way play for the meeting. Red Lion, it was a really good debut run from him, and I think he has improved from that run, so he's the danger. And then the two favourites, Adios and Exponential, 11, 5, 3 and 7.
Yeah, I've gone the 7 Exponential. I think it might well transpire and be the story of the evening, the fact that Zach Purton's riding for Douglas White and it is the last leg, so he might well help him win the IJC for a fourth time, but we'll certainly take the chance that he will, and we'll put him on top. Adios in for second, has been racing well. He's got a good draw. Sylvester de Souza, I think, can suit a horse like him. Gold Marquis goes in. Look, it's going to be much tougher for him from a wide draw, but again, luck of the draw will have it that Matthew Chadwick is on board, and he rode him last time, so that's got to be a plus. And Happy sharing the 4. Can't really fault his recent racing. He goes forward, he's well drawn, Hugh Bowman's on. There's enough to like for me. 7, 3, 1 and 4.
Zach Purton has won 3 of the last 5 IJC. Sylvester de Souza has won 1 of the last 5. And Karis Teaton, we welcome him back too on Wednesday night. That is the lead-in for you boys to tell us who you think's going to win on Wednesday night, the IJC. Paul.
Well, look, Zach's going to come up really short, but I'm going to go with one at a big price. The prices aren't out now, so I presume she'll be a big price, and that's Holly Doyle. She did win one of the races last year. Universal Crown's a chance. I thought Kung Fu Tea will run a big race. I like Rising from Ashes. And Stormtroop, an old favourite of yours, Mark, he's always consistent as well. So with those 4 rides, I think she could win it at a price.
Yeah, look, she's got every chance, I think, as well, Holly. I'll go with a bit of a record to be broken, I think, here, and it's going to be Zach Purton. Now, Douglas White has got 3 of these, and I think he can help him win a 4th one, but he starts with Supreme Lucky, who's got to have his chance. Lightly raced horse. Co-partner Era is not out of it in the second leg. Packing Famous Informant, Exponential, I think, might just be the horse that wins it for him.
All right, so Zach Purton to win it again for Nick, and Holly has been cleared to ride on Wednesday night. What about some other winners, Paul, outside of the 4 races we've looked at?
Well, we've got the visiting riders riding in some of the other races, and I thought Hardy Wish, which comes up in race number 3, Jamie Carr will ride that. Should get a really perfect run. Hardy Wish. We've How Deep Is Your Love went really well on debut. I think he can win as well, How Deep Is Your Love. Also, Rise Brethren for James McDonald in the last. He's a horse who's been running really well recently.
And you can see all of those races on the website, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for race-by-race analysis. End of the show. Best bet.
Going to go with the last. Save it to the last. Rise Brethren. I thought James McDonald from Barrier 2 get the perfect run just in behind, and he can win the last. So that's the best. We'll make the long shot one of the IJC races, and that's number 11, Mr. Valiant. Currently at 14s is Mr. Valiant. Hit the line strongly for 4th last time. And we'll do the play in race 6. Gold Babies run really well this season. How Deep Is Your Love? And 6th Generation.
Yeah, best bet for me. I think it might go the way of the visitors. Michael Barcelona is booked to ride How Deep Is Your Love. Very good debut. I think he can build on that. And race 6, number 8 is the best. Race 5, number 4, Spicy Grill for Tom Marquand. I'll make the long shot on IJC night coming up from Happy Valley. And race 9, the play, numbers 4, 6 and 7 for me in the last.
Supreme Lucky, League 1 of the IJC. Zach will get off to a flyer. He's drawn barrier number 1. We'll need to find a length or two after his debut. So race 4, number 7. Here comes Ted. Good second up record. 4-time winner course and distance. Lyle Hewitson for David Hall. And the play race for a QQP 2, 7 and 9. That has been the IJC episode of Racing to Win, and a huge day Sunday, Nick.
Huge, absolutely huge, Mark, and just can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's going to be great, isn't it? Golden 60. Can he do it again?
And all the internationals to take him on. That has been Racing to Win. We'll see you at Happy Valley for the first at 6:30.